So Boruto episode 14 is, well, it's out now, and I have some pretty mixed feelings about it because there are a lot of things that this episode did really well. But overall, there are also a lot of things that it did that really irked me and rubbed me the wrong way. So, yeah, like, without beating around the bush too much, let's just get right into the meat of this episode. So, it carries on from immediately where last week's episode left off, and Boruto and Mitsuki, along with Sumire, end up in some sort of other dimension or plane of reality or whatever. Like, I don't know exactly what it is, if it's another planet or if it's, like, the Kamui dimension or whatever, but it's made clear at the beginning of the episode that Nue wasn't summoned from some place that exists on Earth, like the toads, the snakes, the slugs, or any other summoning animal. It was summoned from its own space, a land that is, like, it's not, he wasn't summoned from Earth, is the gist of it. And so, the portal that got opened up at the end of last week's episode, which didn't really get explained, that was a portal to another world or something like that. And so Boruto got sucked into there after Sumire got, like, eaten, and then Mitsuki just ended up there somehow, but I don't really have a problem with that, because Mitsuki's awesome. Like, he's the GOAT, and he is without a doubt one of the most entertaining parts of this episode. Oh, also, before I forget to mention it, there's this one scene where it's made clear that whatever Boruto's dojutsu is, it can see chakra networks to some extent, I think. But it's like orange instead of blue. So I don't know, man. People are gonna jump me for saying that it's definitely not a Byakugan when it has this power, but it's, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, dude. I don't know. Anyway, you know what? Forget the episode summary. The biggest problem with this is that there's this really cool fight set up, and based on the start of the episode, you get the impression that this is gonna be gritty and very Part 1-esque, that it has real stakes and real consequences, and, you know, like, it's not gonna be all hunky-dory. But no, Boruto talked no jutsu Sumire into being a good guy again. He's like, oh yeah, you don't have to go back, you don't have to listen to your parents, you just come back to Leaf Village. Like, granted, it was a little bit satisfying and heartwarming to see her change her mind and to see Boruto make her happy, to see her get redeemed and to come back to living a nice, cozy life with all of her friends in the Hidden Leaf Village. But at the same time, it kind of ruined any sense of danger that previously existed. I mean, like, I just don't feel like things are gonna get really serious in this show, like, ever, if this is how things are gonna be. Because the Zabuza stuff and the tuning exam stuff, that was all really grounded and gritty. I mean, pretty much all of Part 1 was very cynical and dark, and you didn't really have these quick, easy solutions. Like, imagine if Naruto had talked no jutsu'd Kimimaro. Hell, Sasuke left the Leaf Village, and I mean, that took me by surprise when I first watched the series. Like, as a kid, I was just like, okay, Naruto beats him, takes him back home, end of the arc. But no, that's not what happened. Sasuke left, you know, like, there were real stakes back in Part 1, and it wasn't like problems weren't guaranteed to be resolved. You had stuff happening that was, like, bitter and terrible, like Jiraiya dying in Part 2 and Pain blowing up the whole Leaf Village. That took a while to, you know, I guess I'm probably just rambling right now. My point is that for Boruto to just be like, no, Sumire, you gotta come back, and then for her to be let completely off the hook by Sai, who is just like, yeah, I get the type of person that you are, and I get why you're like this, so I'm just gonna have a talk with you and try and steer you back down the right path. Like, that wasn't quite, like, I don't think I'm explaining what I mean well, but I think you guys get what I'm talking about. It's just, it would have been more emotionally impactful if she had been killed, or if she had realized that what she was doing was stupid, and she still ended up getting taken to prison, or, you know, something along those lines. Heck, even if she realized that what she was doing was wrong right before Mitsuki killed her, just to avoid the, you know, it would be nice to see Boruto have his beliefs challenged the way that Naruto did a couple of times in the series. And granted, granted, Naruto's beliefs didn't get challenged very often. The only time somebody really directly called him out for his naive perception of reality was when Pain gave him his little speech during the fight between the two of them. But the way this episode handled it was just, you saw Naruto make mistakes and you saw his naivete really backfire at earlier points in the series. But here, nobody even disagrees with Boruto. Mitsuki was completely opposed to Boruto trying to just persuade Sumire to come back. But then, by the end of the whole episode, it was just like, oh, no, I get what you're going for, Boruto. You reach a conclusion that I never even would have thought of. Good on you. You're a good kid. Like, what? No, that's so silly. I'm probably harping on this for too long. It's just, come on. Talk no jutsu, really. And everything aside from this was fine. Because you had this beginning scene where everybody was taking the situation super seriously. Kakashi, Naruto, and everybody else who had initially been fighting Nue. But all of the stuff with Sumire was just, like, she commands Nue to eat her and then blow itself up. And then, it just doesn't do it. It just starts, rubbing its face into her. And Boruto's like, it probably views you as its parent. And it won't hurt you. Like, what? I'm just not a fan of the campiness and the cheesiness and the complete lack of consequences. Everything, like I keep saying, everything else about the episode was good. There was this really cool fight scene at the very beginning, but everything feels so contrived and it feels really forced. And if you were gonna have that whole plot twist with Sumire being the main villain just for Boruto to wrap it up by speaking anyway, that's like, come on, was that really necessary? It was an entertaining episode. It definitely was fun to watch, but it bugged me. It wasn't gripping, it wasn't compelling, it was just a good time. It was just a decent 20 to 30 minutes of fun. And if that's what you want, more power to you, but I was just hoping for more to come out of the episode, I guess. I don't know what else to say. I'm not expecting a villain as complex as Nagato or Madara, but I'm also not expecting, somebody tweeted at me, you guys are spoiled expecting late Shippuden level stuff right from the start of the series. You gotta let it build up. That's not the problem I have with this. The problem I have is that I actually want more of the part 1 type stuff. But, the thing is, the world just felt oppressive back at the start of part 1. The Chunin exams, nothing was on the side of Team 7 back then. They ended up having to fight Orochimaru, who decided he was going to burn one of their scrolls. Everything was stacked against them then, and the Land of Waves, that was centered around 1 Jonin and 3 Genin taking on a mission that, quite frankly, they were not equipped to handle. Tazuna explained that it would be a C rank mission, but as it turns out, he was aware that it was actually something that was more worthy of a B or even an A rank mission, and so you have these 3 Genin under the guidance of their 1 Jonin master, trying to survive against Chunin level assassins, Jonin level assassins, and it felt a lot more threatening. Here, it's just you got 12 episodes of build up and then 2 episodes of payoff, and it didn't even really do anything. It was just oh, Sumire's a bad guy, but as it turned out, nope, just kidding. I'm gonna leave that whole thing alone now. It's just come on. Another thing that bugged me about the episode was so Sumire's dad put this seal on her back that would allow her to summon Nue. It was some sort of contract or binding with the creature, and then it disappeared as soon as she stopped being on the dark side or whatever. It didn't just disappear. It cracked and exploded right on her back, and I was like, what? Excuse me? What was that? To make matters worse, last episode, it sort of implied that both of her parents kind of led her down the you need to blow up the whole Hidden Leaf Village route, but as it turns out, no, her mom just wanted her to be happy, and she had just forgotten all of that. But her dad, because he was bitter that her mom fell ill due to sickness caused by stress, he was just yeah, now you gotta blow up the Leaf Village, no choice. And I guess she just forgot about her mom. And okay, you could make the argument that oh, well, he suppressed her memories, or it's natural, it's been a long time, or whatever, but then that's not the biggest issue with her forgetting her. The biggest issue with her forgetting her mother is that she remembers her right after she becomes a quote-unquote good person again. And also, according to Boruto, she wasn't faking being this this adorable little cinnamon bun character. she actually did feel all of the emotions that she was displaying in earlier episodes, which makes me wonder, like, okay, then why did she think it was a good idea to nuke the Leaf Village if she actually cared for all of her classmates? This doesn't... Like, this is like a completely different person. Maybe she just really wanted to be edgy for a bit. I don't know. Also, another thing that bugged me is, so, like, after this whole seal explodes and Sumire remembers her mother, so this is the biggest issue. Like, the whole cave or dimension or whatever that they're in starts crumbling. Right, and then, so they have to run to escape, but they're on another world, possibly another plane of reality. How are they supposed to escape? I was just like, so what, is Nue gonna, like, take them back, or what's gonna happen? And no, as it turns out, Boruto just punches the wall at the end of the cave, and then a portal opens up, and they go back home. That's actually what happens, and I was just, what? I know that Naruto is no stranger to ass pulls, but, like, this isn't even an ass pull. This is just them being like, oh yeah, they can escape by, like, whatever. You guys get what I'm talking about. I have a feeling that this anime is going to go downhill really fast. I thought it was gonna be really good based on the opening few episodes, but this feels like it is specifically aimed at kids, and you know what, if that's the case, that's fine, but at the same time, even kids like stuff that isn't just, like, that doesn't have a Disney ending. Now, granted, maybe they're just doing it with this one arc because of the fact that it would seem weird if this big, grand thing happened where, like, someone nuked the village or one of Boruto's classmates died and no one mentioned it in the movie. But maybe they just shouldn't have started out with this arc then. Maybe they could have just started off with the events that happened after the movie. I don't know. Maybe that's a good alternative, but maybe I'm just weird. I don't know. Mitsuki was really cool. Like I was saying at the very beginning of the video, there was this really awesome fight scene between he and Sumire, and in general, dialogue was fine, if not a little cheesy. The fight scenes and choreography were really good. The animation was great, pretty much all episode long, though there was this one bit, like this series of frames. It wasn't too long. It might not have even been a second long, where the animation quality very obviously went down for just like a split second, and it was really funny because it contrasted with the previous frame, which looked perfectly fine, and then there's just this that looks like it was animated by tossing a few Microsoft Paint pages into GIMP. But anyway, for the most part, animation looked great, looked crisp. The fight was nice and fluid. But man, can we not have any more talk no jutsu after this week? I'd really appreciate it. I guess, like, I'd give the episode a 4 out of 5 overall, but in terms of, like, just narrative-wise, it's gonna get, like, a 3 or a 2.5. I don't think I need to explain myself. It just felt really fake, forced, cheesy. What really killed it for me was Mitsuki just grinning at the end after Boruto convinced Sumire to change sides and being like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, no, man, Mitsuki should be there to constantly challenge Boruto's views, not reinforce his dumb, I could save everybody by just winning a debate with them. That's not what happened with Momoshiki. Momoshiki had to die. But then again, Momoshiki wasn't one of Boruto's classmates, so I guess it's... Anyway, let me know your thoughts about the episode in the comments below. I have mixed feelings. I liked it, but like I said, there are a lot of things that rub me the wrong way. Hopefully next week's episode is better. If not, we might have a Dragon Ball Super situation on our hands where all I do is rag on this series and people get mad at me for it. And if that's the case, I'm not looking forward to it. I might just stop doing reviews. But yeah, as always, till next time, talk to you guys later. Peace.